Next is Mary Winston, and introducing her is Annie.
Mary Winston, Winifred, Winnie, M-Dub, Nelson. What a special girl. Winston began a stellar athletic career in a game against Sacred Heart, and for some reason, in an effort to keep the ball from going towards our goal, she picked up the ball with her hands, played with it for a second, and then threw it. She then moved on to a successful lacrosse career where the ball would get stuck in the head of her stick. The legality of this was questionable, but it made her impossible to check. Winston is also very creative. She spends an abnormal amount of time collaging and making an assortment of other crafts. Thankfully, she now channels her artistic talent into an actual art class instead of her homemade collages of her and Ryan Reynolds. However, nowadays, Winston can't be found anywhere because she's almost always doing work. And if she isn't doing work, she always looks like she is. She's such a dedicated student that the other night we spent 2 hours coquinaring paella for our Spanish class. You're such a great friend. Hold on. Wherever you go next year, make sure to find a good coffee shop to live in, and I know you'll do great. You're such a great friend. Thank you for helping me realize my desire to be a dentist by entering my office on the playground and allowing me to pull not just one, but several of your teeth. I love you, good luck on your speech, and always remember, there ain't no party like an S-Club party.
Arrive at 6 o'clock. Cook the pizza, fill up the milk cups. Clean the plates, play Barbies or Power Rangers, maybe watch a Disney movie. Put on pajamas, not forgetting the pull-up, brush teeth, read a few books, and finally tuck them in. Most of my friends know how I spend a decent amount of time during the weekends, babysitting. I can truthfully say I regularly babysit at least one night every weekend, some nights after school or practice, and even every morning during the first week of winter break. Some question if you call babysitting a legitimate job. There's no set days, no set hours, no set pay, and no taxes robbing my income. But babysitting to me is more than a job. It definitely takes a lot of hard work to look after a bunch of toddlers with a baby crying, a 6-year-old demanding attention, and try to juggle all the kids while keeping them happy, but at the same time trying to stay in control. It takes lots of time, whether it's a whole Sunday afternoon or even babysitting overnight. It all began when I was younger. I lived for having babysitters. I looked forward to the Saturday night when my parents would leave around 6:30 and I was left to endlessly play with the older, cooler teenage girl. I loved to look out the window for her car to park in front of my house or would eagerly ride in the back seat with my dad to pick her up. I would sit around the kitchen as my mom laid out the plan for the evening as I begged, now just leave, and kiss my parents goodbye. I loved sitting with the babysitter talking about school, her friends, or going through a backpack to be at all with the massive-sized textbooks filled with math I thought I could never be capable of learning. I'd go through her purse trying on the lip gloss, we'd do makeovers together, draw pictures, play Monopoly, or even just watch the Disney Channel. Once it was time for bed, however, I had quite the routine. I wasn't going to bed. After insisting I watch a few more minutes of TV, despite being well after my bedtime, I would trudge upstairs to pick out the books we would then read. After turning off my light, I would give her a few minutes to get settled downstairs and turn on whatever cool teenage show she wanted to watch, then crept my way to the basement. Then comes one of the most repetitive lines of my childhood. I'm not tired. I knew my babysitter couldn't immediately fix this issue, and there really wasn't quite the solution for not wanting to go to bed. So I would then beg to sit with her on the couch as she would tell me over and over how I would be dead meat if I didn't go upstairs before my parents came home. This never fazed me. I knew eventually my parents would just come home and kiss me goodnight, then I'd go to bed at the more appropriate hour of 11 o'clock. I really couldn't wait for the day when I could start babysitting too, just like all of my past babysitters, because looking after my baby brother wasn't enough for me. When middle school came, I immediately took the Babysitters Club camp at Collegiate, learning first aid and dealing with little kids. This is it. I can officially babysit. But how do I get started? To put my name out to the neighborhood that was eager to babysit, Annie, Chandler, and I had the idea to make flyers. We put a simple flyer with a little bit about ourselves and our interest in babysitting, then dropped them off at all the neighbors' mailboxes who we know had little kids. The flyers now seem ridiculous looking back, but they did the job. The feedback from the flyers was great, and within a short time, the career had begun. There's something about babysitting that always seems to make it hard for me to say no to a job. I've created such a bond with the little kids, with whom some I've been babysitting since they were born, and I've watched them grow up. To me now, it's more than just putting them to bed as their parents go out. I've created a relationship with the little family down the street from me, or even I'm the one calling the 8-year-old on a Saturday afternoon to see if she would want to come over to go through hand-me-downs of mine or just play on the tire swing. Or whenever I run by their house, I make sure to check if anyone's playing outside and usually take a break to check out their new fort. Nor did I get too furious when she announced she had my number memorized by heart and repetitively called me over 6 times at 7 in the morning. I regularly give in to laying with each child every night until they fall asleep or even I do next to them. I even have their birthdays in my calendar and make sure to drop by to give them cupcakes on the big day. I know part of the sympathy for this particular little girl is the fact that she is the oldest two in her family. I know what it feels like not having the older sister or brother to help guide you, but instead forced to create the path for your younger siblings. When I was younger, I worshipped the older girls, dreaming I had an older sister too. I know it's my duty now to play that role in her life. It's not about the pay at the end of the night, and I'm rarely thinking about all the other things I could be doing with my friends instead. Instead, I truly just love to babysit. Though I do not consider babysitting whatsoever a profession, I found a quote from Robert Kirby. The mark of a true profession is to give more than you can receive.